Hey, it's Clive from Bonsai. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be wiring a Japanese black pine seedling. So the reason why we would wire a little young branch or trunk like this is because we want to shape it and manipulate it to the direction we want it to grow. Awesome. So first thing we need to do is you can see that these small little needles over here we need to remove and just allow the foliage to be right on the tip of the Japanese black pine. So what I'm going to do by using my hands, I'm just going to start by plucking off all of this small pieces of needles. Some of them you can see are brown, so they've already died off. And we are just going to take off all of these pieces of needles. Just like that. So you can see over here, I've got a nice long trunk. So what we're going to be doing is putting some wire on the trunk of the tree. So I've got some 3mm gauge wire. So the best technique to wire a trunk is we're going to put the wire into the soil and we're going to wrap it all the way up the trunk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just measure how much wire I need. I'm going to measure, I always give myself a bit extra because it's going to go into the soil, and when we wrap it around, it's going to obviously shorten the length of the wire. Okay, so I've measured my wire. I'm going to cut it over here, just like that. Now with this piece of wire, I'm going to stick it into the soil. So about 2 to 3 centimeters deep, just allowing it to be nice and anchored into the soil. Now the most important thing is to start off the bend correctly. So we really want it to be as tight as possible. So you can see I place my thumb and I start holding the wire against the trunk, and I'm going to go around that trunk like this. Now you can see I move my finger up to support the trunk. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep moving my finger up to the next bit of wire just to keep supporting the branch. As you can see, while I wire all the way to the top, it's pretty equally spaced, the wire, at a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to keep going all the way to the top of the branch or the trunk. And the excess wire over here, now I can remove it just to neaten it up, just like that. So if I had to only use one piece of wire, I don't think we would get a really great nice bend into the trunk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 pieces of wire just to strengthen the hold of the wire. So if I had taken a big, fat, thick piece of wire, it would have just been way too hard to get it around this delicate trunk. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take 2 pieces of wire, and that's going to almost act as a bigger, thicker piece of wire. So I'm going to cut my second piece of wire like that. I've already measured it. I'm going to move that out the way. And now you can see I'm going to stick the other piece of wire into the soil, and I'm going to follow the exact same pattern as the other piece of wire. So I'm going to go along and I'm going to follow the exact same pattern as the other wire, going all the way up the trunk, and I'm going to finish it off over there, and I'm just going to cut it to neaten it up. You can see that the wire is already starting to shape the tree. You can see how it's bending the tree over this way. But what we want to try do is get nice and creative, and basically anything you've seen in the wild or anything you want to envision, we're going to do this to the tree. Remember, it is also a living being, so we must just take our time and be patient. You know, we don't want to just bend it very hard and snap it. So just go slowly and take your time. Awesome. So now I'm going to start bending the Japanese black pine seedling. So you'll notice that over here has got a nice little curve. So I'm not going to force it the other way. I'm going to go with that curve. You'll see how I bend it over my finger And now I move my finger up a bit just to keep bending it a little bit more, giving it a nice little bend. You'll notice when you wire a Japanese black pine, the branches are very, very flexible. Do you know why this is? So black pines produce a lot of resin, which keeps the wood soft and very pliable. So you can see by me bending it, I can really give it quite a drastic bend over here. So I'm just going slowly, I'm taking my time, and you can see I'm not trying to make it too much like a triangle because that might snap the branch. I'm giving it natural flows, just like that. So on a Japanese black pine, the branches have interwoven fibers that allow for the bending without it to snap. In nature, these trees grow in coastal areas, so their branches are very, very flexible because obviously all of the big windstorms they have. And I'm just going to do a nice little shape like this, almost like I've just twisted it around, but you can really do whatever you want to do. Now I always allow the tip to be facing the sun, so you never want it to hang low like this. You always want the foliage to face the sun, just like that. So now in a few months, this is going to set like this, and we're going to have a beautifully curved bonsai, and it's not going to be so upright anymore. Cool, so that's a quick guide to how to wire a Japanese black pine seedling. If you see over here, I've got one that's slightly older that I've been growing for, I think this one is about 4 or 5 years old, where this one is 2 years old. But you can see you can slowly start gradually wiring them as they grow and when they start branching out. So you can see this Japanese black pine has formed a new branch, which I eventually wired down. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was super short. I hope you learned something. Please subscribe, like, and follow me on Instagram.